Well, with that, we have another speaker, a very important person that we are so happy to have with us because he represents the state where our organization is based. Senator Tim Kaine was elected to the Senate in 2012. He serves on the Armed Services, Budget, Foreign Relations, and Health, Education, Labor, and Pensions committees. As co-chair of the bipartisan Career and Technical Education Caucus, the senator focuses on expanding access to job training programs to ensure that students of all ages can get the jobs in this modern economy. The senator grew up working in his father's ironworking shop in Kansas City. After graduating from the University of Missouri, he started his public service career by running a technical school founded by Jesuit missionaries in Honduras. He trained teenagers to become carpenters and welders, equipping them with skills to lift themselves up. He was first elected to office in 1994 as mayor of Richmond. He became lieutenant governor in Virginia in 2002 and was inaugurated as Virginia's 70th governor. He is married to Ann Holton, whose mother I worked with many years ago, and with Ann when I served on the State Council of Higher Education. She served as Virginia's Secretary of Education from 2014 through 2016, and I believe now she's serving as interim president at George Mason University while the search goes on for the new president. It is an honor and a pleasure to have a senator from our home state, Tim Kaine.
Ben, it was wonderful to hear you talk about the impact that RSI made on your life. Two of the RSI high school fellows this past summer were from Virginia, Anusha Puri from Richmond and Benjamin Kaine from Northern Virginia, or I may have switched their locations around, but Anusha and Benjamin were proud REI scholars, and RSI scholars. We're expecting much from them, and you did a good job of laying out how that experience was important in your career. Thank you for that. I'm really happy to be here with Joe Lieberman, who is a longtime friend, and Mike Jean came up and said, you got two senators who were vice presidential candidates. I said, not only were we vice presidential candidates, we have the rare distinction of being able to call ourselves electoral college dropouts. You'll figure out why we share that rare distinction later, but Joe is a wonderful friend and somebody who's been very passionate about educational excellence. I want to thank Mike Jing, who's a great friend from Richmond, who's been very supportive of CEE. He was the one that got this on my radar screen, and I'm just happy to have everybody here. This is really important. I know Jackie Rosen, Senator Rosen, has already been from the Senate to give you a welcome, and so I'm sort of at the tail end, so I think I get the altar call if she gets the welcome. And the altar call is simple: go forth and multiply. Just do more and get more people in it with you. I'm really thrilled in the Senate to be on the Health Committee, Health, Education, Labor, Pension. My other committees are fantastic: Armed Services, Foreign Relations. Well, Budget's not so fantastic because the budget's messed up, but there's hardly a bigger issue. I'm looking at the sponsor of the first climate bill that was introduced in the Senate. Joe Lieberman introduced a bipartisan bill with my friend John Warner, Republican of Virginia, back in 2006. Joe, am I right? Do I remember basically that case? And so there's science that needs to be done, and then there's public policy that needs to follow the science, and that's sort of the beginning and ending of my week. A passion of mine is career and technical education, which is very aligned with STEM. I grew up working in my dad's organized ironworking shop, and developed a deep appreciation for the artistry of these trained ironworkers who come through a union apprenticeship program. But I had a high school experience that was odd because I'd be working with my dad on weekends and in summers, sometimes after school, and then I had a high school that was academically really sharp, but where nobody ever talked about career and technical education. In fact, there was really a sense that was for the kids who couldn't cut it academically. And that was sort of the stigma that was in like the water supply or in the air, never mentioned in quite so many words, but the absence of encouragement for talented students to consider CTE made an impression. I left Harvard Law School to go work with missionaries in Honduras. I arrived, they told me I could come volunteer. They said, well, what do you know how to do? We said you could volunteer for you, but once I arrived, what do you know how to do? I said, I'm in Harvard Law School. They said, that is precisely wordless here. There's nothing in that will have any practical value for anyone. I said, well, my dad runs an ironworking welding shop. They said, now we're talking. And so they put me in charge of a school that taught kids to be carpenters. I added a welding curriculum. Those two experiences of working in my dad's shop and then seeing the power of career and technical education in Honduras convinced me that we don't define higher education broadly enough. We define it too narrowly. Of course we want people to go to college and afford to go to college and finish college with no debt, but we sort of preached a mantra for a while that if you don't go to college, then there's something lesser about you. We know that everyone needs education after high school. That's true. But it doesn't all have to be about college. It needs to be about the careers, including technical careers, that we are so in need of in this country. I gave a graduation speech a few years ago at the Newport News Shipbuilding Apprenticeship Program. It's 100 years old this year, centennial. I think it's the best apprenticeship program in the United States. And it teaches people to do something really important. Build the most complicated things that are built on the planet Earth, nuclear aircraft carriers and subs. Build those so that our nation's patriotic mandate to defend itself can be successful. Build those so that the sailors and Marines, like my son who's in the Marine Corps, who are shipboard, can be safe. And the people who graduate from this program, they not only do something incredibly sophisticated and important and patriotic to the nation, they do it for a really good salary over the course of their life. They tend to start with no debt. It's a wonderful way to make a living. But when I gave this speech at the apprenticeship program graduation 3 Marches ago, I said, I'm just going to be really quick with you. I'm going to congratulate you and apologize to you. That was my whole speech. Congratulations. By even getting into this program, much less graduating from it, you got into a program that's harder to get into than it is to get into Harvard as an undergraduate. The acceptance rate for people into Newport News Shipbuilding is lower than the Harvard University acceptance rate for the freshman class, and 60% of those accepted already have some college or college degrees, many of whom are veterans as well. So congratulations, you've gotten into one of the most difficult, rigorous, tough programs to get into the United States. But I'm going to apologize to you now. And my apology is this. We will often read statistics about the percentage of Americans who have higher education degrees, and although I'm going to hand you a diploma today, as you come across the stage for completing this 3-year course, doing this patriotic and important work, when the nation talks about the percentage of adults with higher education degrees, you are not counted. You are not counted because you came through an apprenticeship program. If you go and get extra courses to get a community college degree, you're counted. You would be counted if you go on in cooperative programs with Old Dominion or Christopher Newport universities, you're counted. But you've just mastered an incredibly important technical skill in 3 years, and you're doing something patriotic, but we don't count you as having a higher education degree. There's something wrong with that. There's something wrong when Pell Grants cannot be used for high-quality career and technical education programs that are not 14 weeks in length, because 14 weeks is the length of a college semester. You know, college semester courses 3 times a week, hour and a half per time, 4.5 hours times 14. Okay, so maybe it's about 65 hours in a semester of classroom work. There's a whole lot of high quality career and technical education apprenticeship programs that are just 8 weeks long. But they're 5 days a week, 8 hours, 40 hours a week times 8, 320 hours, 5 times as many classroom hours, but we do not allow those students currently to get Pell Grants. In the military, my son, he has been a platoon commander and then the deputy, he's the chief operations officer of a battalion. He can approve somebody in one of his units, platoon or battalion, to get military tuition assistance benefit. This is not GI Bill, this is for active duty, up to $4,500 a year. But it has to be used in a course on a college campus. If one of his Maureen says to him, hey, I'm a trained ordnance specialist. Can I have $300? I'd like to pass the American Welding Society certification exam. The passage of which would give that young person a credential that they could take anywhere in the country and many places in the world and be employed like that. My son cannot approve them using $300 of the available benefit to pass the AWS certification exam because it's not a college course. So what I'm hoping that we do on the Health Committee, as we are currently kind of analyzing reauthorizing the Higher Education Act, which hasn't been reauthorized for about 10 years, and we tend to reauthorize it and then sort of set it and forget it for another 5 to 10 years. What I'm hoping to do is we work on that together with my chairman, Laura Alexander, my ranking member, Patty Murray, both really good, both know how to cut a deal and do some good things, did it with rewriting No Child Left Behind, did it with the Perkins Act. I'm hoping as we do it with the Higher Education Act, we will encourage, celebrate, accelerate, incentivize all kinds of STEM and career and technical fields, not just those that lead to a bachelor's, master's, or PhD, or associate's degree, but also those, if they are high quality, that lead to acquisition of career and technical skills that our nation needs and that can be verified as high quality. And that's something that the Center for Excellence in Education has been helpful with and supportive. I'll tell you something else that I noticed about people who come through CTE curriculum. I met a wonderful young man in a career and technical program in Waynesboro, Virginia, which was an old manufacturing community that kind of DuPont Chemical and other chemical plants that sort of went into decline, and now it's experiencing a renaissance. And he is running a manufacturing business in Waynesboro. It's about 30 miles west of Charlottesville. And he told me his very interesting story. He was at Waynesboro High School. He was taking classes in the Career Tech Center and also applying to colleges. And he got accepted to the University of Virginia. He was very proud of it. But at the same time, when he graduated, he was doing so well at this manufacturing firm where he was placed as an intern that the head of the company said, I don't have any children to leave this business to. You're the kind of person I would like to eventually figure out a way to transfer or sell this business to. So he decided to stay, actually, and go to the local community college and continue to work with the business. And by the time he was about 22, he had bought it. He was the CEO. He's managed to go back and get a community college degree, and now it's a number of years later, and he's serving on the board of the local workforce training program that benefited him when he was in high school. But he said to me, you know what, this has occurred to me only recently. If I had gone to UVA, I think I would have had a wonderful life and a career, but I probably would be working for somebody else right now. But because I went this path, I'm running my own business, and I'm the boss. I haven't seen academic literature about this, but I've heard enough anecdotal to believe that there is a connection between career and technical education and entrepreneurship. You know, you became an entrepreneur the day you left your job, but you knew you were an entrepreneur. You had a desire to sort of do your own thing. And I think career and technical education done well often is a real inspiration toward the entrepreneurship, nurturing the entrepreneurship gene that people have within them. So I'm really happy to come here and celebrate the work that CEE does to support great scientists and researchers, to support STEM. And I would just encourage us all, as we think about the education spectrum that should be available to our students, let's not do what was done when I was going through high school. Let's not communicate to kids that a traditional bachelor's degree is the only meaningful thing that they can do after high school. But let's celebrate all educational attainment, including high-quality career and technical education, which is so closely aligned with the need to train the STEM workers that our economy needs and that we need for our own health, safety, and security. Congratulations to you all. Thanks for having me today. Glad I could be here.